to sketch a modulus or absolute function. Let's consider a very simple case of y equals to modulus of x. To sketch this graph, let's consider without the modulo sign, that means the graph of y equals to x. The line y equals to x is a straight line with gradient 1 passing through the origin. Now, when we put the modulo sign or the absolute sign, we consider what is the effect on the points on this straight line. The points that are above the x-axis are positive values. For example, 4. Okay. The point 4, 4, when you put a modulus at the 4, it will remain unchanged. Hence, those points that are above the x-axis will remain on the same line. How about those points that are below the x-axis? Those points that are below the x-axis has negative y value. For example, when x is minus 5, y is minus 5. So when I put a modulus on the minus 5, it becomes positive 5. Hence, all the points that are below the x-axis will be reflected about the line y equals to 0, or the x-axis. Hence, we get a very typical V-shaped graph for y equals to modulus of x. Let's consider another absolute function. This time, let's take a look at y equals to the modulus of x minus 1. Again, we are going to look at the graph that's without the modulus. That is y equals to x minus 1. As you remember, the proper way of drawing a line for drawing a graph is to find out the intersection with the x and y axis. So the intersection with the x-axis is when y is 0. When y is 0, x equals to 1. We have a point here. Okay, intersection at the y-axis, at the x-axis. Now we consider intersection with the y-axis. Okay, intersection with the y-axis. That means x equals to 0. So when x is 0, y is minus 1. Now we can draw the straight line y equals to x minus 1. So the line y equals to x minus 1 looks like that. Again, this is the intermediate step. We will use a dotted line. So now when we put a modulo sign on the x minus 1, what is the effect on all these points on the line y equals to x minus 1? Those points that are above the x-axis, all these points here, which are positive y value, will remain unchanged. Whereas these points that are below the x-axis, for example, this point, -1, will be reflected along the x-axis. So every single point will be reflected along the x-axis, and you can see you get a typical V-shaped graph again. Right? So only this part is reflected. This part remain unchanged because they are already positive. So this is how the modulus of x minus 1 looks like.